Good afternoon. Welcome to the Oil Stream. Only on Edmonton Sports Talk. Tom Gazzola, Reid, Wilkins inside the EST Global HQ. Hernan Salas and YouTube Trev. Wheeling and dealing back there. Dancing like neat boys on this blessed Wednesday. The Edmonton Oilers, a big win last night, Riedrich. People quite content. It's warming up outside. The stretch drive in full gear. Full effect.
Yeah, you can sort of sense the playoffs are about a month away, right?
Yeah, that's what I was getting
Exactly a month away? When would they start?
I think today David Amber celebrated.
Monday the 21st, isn't it?
Somebody texted. I think David Amber put it out there on X, a.k.a. Twitter. Playoffs, exactly 1 month away.
Oh, is it a month away from today?
Playoffs? Get out of here.
No, it wouldn't. Are they starting it on a Saturday today?
I have no idea.
I should know this.
Find out.
Stanley Cup playoffs 2025. I guess I don't have to narrate my Google search.
That's okay. It's fun when you do it that way.
Okay, anyway. Yeah, but remember the last couple of years, they've finished the season on a Thursday or a Friday and started the playoffs on the Monday instead of having games on the weekend?
Yes, I do remember. This coffee's awful. Joaquin, I think, made it.
First day of playoffs, April 19th is what they announced a few...
Yeah.
Oh, no, it is Saturday. Okay, sorry.
Okay, there we go.
All right. So I guess they're starting on a Saturday this year.
There we go. We're inside the Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen studio, brought to you, of course, Popeyes. You're going to go there for lunch. You're already telling me.
I'm going to get a Popeyes something after the show.
Yeah, well, they're featuring the 5-piece nuggets, fried pickles, mini chicken wrap, mini chicken sandwich, and blackened cauliflower, all for $4 plus tax. These are perfect snackable items that can be something that rounds out your favorite Popeyes meal. I was telling you, because you said you were stuffed and you don't like drinking a lot of pop.
Yeah.
That this might be a good alternative. Get a couple crispy chicken sandwiches.
And I'm a new Popeyes customer since I started working here. But the full meal with the fries, the burger, and the pop I got that. It's too much for me.
It's a lot.
And I drink pop, but I don't drink a lot of pop, so I felt stuffed. So last time I just got the sandwich, and today, maybe I'll try something new today. But the chicken sandwich is so good.
Chicken there is phenomenal. Text us 780-218-9999. Get into the nasty chat. Hit that thumbs up button if you're listening on iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, of course, EdmontonSportsTalk.com's audio player. You know we appreciate you. Maybe you're driving a Popeyes right now. Or maybe you're headed to Boston Pizza, our presenting sponsor. You can buy one medium or large pizza and get the second 50% off. We're going to be at BP's Westgate next week twice. One for this show on the 26th at noon for lunch, so join us. And then the next day, for the game in Seattle, we'll have a watch party there and live on location pre and post game. So it'll be a lot of fun. BP's awesome. Looking forward to being down there a couple more times this month. And then I believe we'll be doing some playoffs down at BP Westgate.
Oh, exciting.
Playoffs. The Oilers a step closer
to getting in.
Getting in there. Big win yesterday, 7-1 over Utah Hockey Club. Soon to be the Mammoth, I believe. That's the front runner.
That is the front number. I think, Ryan Miller from KSL.com was on yesterday with us. Mm-hmm. And I know you had stuff on your pregame show as well.
Yep.
Yeti was the front runner, but the cup company, what are they called?
Cooler Yeti. Yeti Coolers, Yeti.
Pushed back on that, I guess. And then they had the name Wasatch for the mountains. They pulled the second day.
12 hours apparently.
And then what is Hockey Club still a finalist?
Yeah, somehow.
And then Mammoth. Now, do the Colorado Mammoth still exist of the National Lacrosse League?
I believe they do, and they do quite well attendance.
And they have a cool logo, I think, with the Mammoth with the big tusks.
Yes.
So, Mammoth will be a neat name. I don't hate Hockey Club as much as you do. It's kind of grown on me a little bit. Or if they just called themselves UHC.
I hate it. Every time I said it last night, I was that much more irritated. It is such a cop-out. This is not football. This is not soccer. Every hockey team, unless you were created 120 years ago, should have a moniker with a corresponding logo and wonderful uniforms. Like their colors are okay, whatever. You can confuse them with Seattle a little bit, but that logo is god-awful. Their secondary mark is a square that says Utah in it.
It's the state.
Oh, I know. It's that logo represents the state very well. Boring. Symmetrical.
Okay, then I would say they changed their name to UHC.
No.
They're just called UHC.
Why?
Utah Hockey Club, but they don't use Hockey Club. They go UHC, and then on their jerseys, they could have UHC across the chest instead of Utah. And it stands for Utah Hockey Club, but they just refer to themselves as UHC.
Who do they think they are? EST?
Maybe. Not
even close. Okay. 7-1. They spank UHC last night. That's a 3-game heater. A thorough beatdown of a Utah team that had been playing quite well.
Yeah.
6-2-2 in its last 10. I reiterated that. They had won a couple of games. Well, they won the one against Vancouver, which was huge for them to get them within striking distance of a wild card spot. Worst case scenario, like we were talking about on the post-game show yesterday, for UHC.
Yes,
I think
because everybody else around them won.
Exactly. I think that might be the dagger for them.
So they're 4 points out. Vancouver and St. Louis have 75. Calgary has 73 with 1 game in hand on the Canucks and 2 on the Blues. And Utah now has 71. I mean, obviously they got 14 games, but now they're looking at going. So let's say they play really well and go 10-4. They get to 91 points. Yeah. That's, a maybe. Then Vancouver only has to go, they'd only have to win 8 or 9 to get there. Okay, 2 things for me. I thought the Oilers played really well, and I thought the Oilers are playing better. They pushed the pace. They were really good in the offensive zone. They defended pretty well for the most part when Utah did have the puck.
Yep.
Pickard made the saves he needed to make. The special teams were good. I mean, a shorthanded goal, basically a power play goal right after it expired. But Utah, like I said to you last night, if they're looking for a team name, they could be called the Pylons after how they played last night. Utah bad. Was awful. And I think they're a better team than that, obviously. But for a big game for them, they had a really off night. I mean, they didn't get saves. They couldn't defend the front of their own net. Then they didn't skate. I mean, Hyman's second goal, they just kind of watched Ekholm carry the puck down the wall and throw it in front of the net.
Yep.
And Hyman took better body position, and the defender in front didn't even adjust. And then Hyman's first goal, Nuge makes the nice play to pull the puck in front. And I know we always get asked, well, why does Draisaitl keep going over there for the one-timer? Everybody knows about it. He never scored, which isn't true. He still does score from there.
Correct.
But what happened yesterday? A Utah defender was all the way out guarding Draisaitl. So it pulled a penalty killer away from the front of the net. And then when Nuge got around the penalty killer on the left wing, the other Utah guy went up high.
Yep.
And Hyman was all alone in front, so they just didn't have a good game. I mean, to me, Utah defended the way the Oilers have had when they have a bad game defending. That's what Utah did last night. Like, just didn't take care of the dangerous areas.
Yeah. They had the 3 guys sucked up high, and I really thought that was a deft, clever move by Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. That little toe drag to give himself that extra lane or a little bit more space in the lane to make that backdoor tap and pass to Zach Hyman. Good night all around. Matthias Janmark, a breakaway and a partial breakaway. And guess what? He got shots on both of them. So this is progress. Good Corsi, too.
Look.
Tell me. Listen.
Matthias Janmark is a good role player. I know he doesn't score a lot. Did he get 2 shots on goal last night? He's only credited with 1 shot.
Well, fiddlesticks.
But he's going to score a big goal.
I said it. He's saving it for the playoffs.
Probably.
Just like he did last season.
He's only been scratched once, right? He always gets a chance to play. Played 11:45, played 2:01 shorthanded, went out there and did his job. He's like a wild animal out there. He's fine.
Yes, he is. Some physical play last night from Darnell Nurse. We saw him get into the fight with Jack McBain. That was nice to see when he was asked about it. He just straight up said he was playing physical. That was good. Wallman continues to impress the fan base with sound defensive play. Key blocks. Looked like he was shaking off a block off his foot. Or not his foot, his hand, pardon me. Late in the game. Hopefully he's okay. The team is on the ice, or was on the ice briefly. for practice. We'll get to that as well, but we're taking a look back at last night's game. Here's one that comes in from Hampton Steve via the inbox. I'll float it to you, Reid. Hampton Steve says, afternoon, gents. Emberson being scratched last night made me wonder if you've heard anything recently about an Emberson extension. Friedman reported in early January that the Oilers were eager to extend him to avoid any offer sheets this summer. Since then, Emberson hasn't signed and has changed agents. Any concerns there? I can tell you this, that yes, earlier in the season, all of their pending free agents, they had began contact and discussions with, including Ty Emberson. I don't know where it's gone since then. That was a couple months ago when I was told, yeah, the people that they want to keep that are on pending expiring contracts, or were pending free agents, that they were starting the negotiations. So that would have included Emberson. I haven't heard anything since then. I would not be afraid of him getting offer sheeted by somebody. I don't think that he's turned that many heads.
I think they should lock him up, though.
Yeah,
I mean, you traded
I have nothing
Cody
against
Ceci
that
for him, and I think there is some potential there. And I think he,
a guy with 0 goals and 8 assists.
Yeah, he has no offensive,
right?
Very limited offensive upside. But I think as a third pairing defense option, okay, I guess we could look at it this way: was he as good as Cody Ceci? No. Could he be someday?
Maybe.
Maybe. I think that there was a couple games early in the season he got put out in late game situations when the other team had the goalie pulled and did quite well. I do think he tries to engage, he tries to hit, he's not shy. I know he gets hit a lot. I just think you have to look, okay, who's obviously better than him or a better prospect at that age. I don't know if they really have anybody right now. So I think you would want to keep him on the roster and then maybe try to do some other tinkering in the summer. I don't think Stetcher will be back.
No.
Right?
Klingberg, no.
No, Klingberg definitely not. Klingberg may not play again.
I know. That's the interesting part. Well, he did skate yesterday, but if you look at the guys that they have, the depth defensemen right now, Stetcher, Emberson, Klingberg. Emerson's the best one, I would say.
I think he has more talent than Stetcher.
He's bigger body.
And he's bigger. I mean, the thing with Stetcher is he tries, his effort level is always,
which is admirable.
Right. Because he's one of those guys, he knows if he has a couple bad games, he never plays in the NHL again.
Correct.
Maybe even when he plays good games, sometimes he gets scratched, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Emberson's. I was surprised he wasn't in the lineup last night. I guess we never asked postgame if something else was going on because he was in the rotation for the game at the morning skate.
That is correct. Because Stetcher was taking rushes with Klingberg, and you knew Klingberg wasn't playing. So that was a bit of a surprise. We were reading the lines on the pregame show, and we're like, wait a second. That's a bit odd. I hadn't heard anything, haven't been told anything.
Yeah, I don't know if there's more from Knobloch today.
Maybe he's
KD says Emberson is better than CC. I mean, KD's just trolling us at this point. You can't Ty Emberson right now is not a better defenseman than Cody Ceci.
Absolutely not.
I mean, CC's almost a decade older, is he not?
Yep.
And,
yeah.
And I mean, CC would actually score 5 to 7 goals a year. I mean, he could actually, as we saw against Vancouver, pound a slap shot in from the point to get a big goal, or pick a corner like he did in Game 7 against Los Angeles. I guess 3 or 4 years ago now. So I think they traded Ty Emberson. They traded Cody Ceci for Ty Emberson to get younger and cheaper, and hoping that Ty Emberson turns into a very good defender. But right now, Ty Emberson is not better than Cody Ceci. I mean, there's a reason Dallas went out and said, "Hey, maybe Cody Ceci's a good guy to pick up as we get ready for the playoffs here."
Emberson has taken steps in the right direction as a young defenseman playing his first full NHL season. No denying that. No denying that. Cody Ceci, by the way, just to kind of counter KD, who's trolling us like you were saying, Ceci has 7 assists in the 16 games he's played with Dallas. He's got 22 points on the year, 4 goals, and is cleaning up his plus-minus. It was -9 in San Jose. He's +8 in Dallas. So yeah, he's a good veteran defenseman.
I've been a little surprised there hasn't been a little better puck skills with Emberson. Maybe not to get goals, but to get the odd assist and move the puck up the ice. But again, I think if he becomes just I mean, I don't want to, because whenever we talk about this, then it's like, well, CC, Broberg, Desharnais.
Let's end it there.
Like on this team, can Emerson be the 6? Yes.
Yeah.
Can he be a solid 6?
Yes.
To play 12 or whatever, 14 minutes?
Absolutely.
Yes, I think he can.
Absolutely.
I think he can probably do that better than Troy Stecher most of the time. So, and I think because he's still relatively young, like lock him up or sign him for a couple of years and get a couple more years out of him and see how he can develop. But Wallman's changed the complexion of the D.
Correct.
You mentioned him. He blocked 6 more shots last night, so he's fearless. I think that you'd like him to pound in a goal or two. He still might.
His shots get through, though.
Yes.
That's one thing I've noticed early on here. One-timers or just shots, if he tries to sift it from the point, it generally gets through.
Yeah, I think there seems to be like an intelligence to his game. I think he's good at reading plays. And we've seen him get out on the PP2, depending on what they want to do.
Right.
Because sometimes I think Ekholm and Nurse were out there in the third period when it was a laugher last night. But now, like I said yesterday, now they have their top 6 defensemen, but then Stecher plays over top of Emerson. Okay, but now they have a top 5 that's quite good because now Kulak. It depends how they deploy people, right? But Kulak is now a third-pairing defenseman who's played like a second-pairing defenseman most of the year.
There's flexibility there.
So, and there's flexibility. Kulak can go up to the right side. If maybe the number 6 guy's having a tough game, you can rotate 5 or maybe protect Bouchard in defensive zone situations and rotate the other 4 guys. I know they're all left shots, but somebody goes to the other side. So Wallman, to me, and hopefully the best is still to come from him. And then you see him in tougher situations in playoff series and all that.
Text us 780-218-9999. It is the Oil Stream presented by Boston Pizza. I saw a text in here saying, guys, it's Wing Wednesday as well. That's right. Take advantage of that.
Oh, yeah.
Boston Pizza. And there's a recommendation for you from Troll at Popeyes. The loaded buffalo poutine from Popeyes.
Oh, that sounds delicious. I don't know if I could do that, though, within 2 hours of my show. I'd be like sunk down under the table.
And lethargic.
Yeah, I'd be too lethargic.
I like that. Keep those texts coming in. 780-218-9999. Get to the nasty chat as well. Talk with Reid Wilkins with you. Dusty is at Disneyland, which is fantastic. Always fun. Is it the happiest place in the world on earth? Is that what the saying is?
Yeah, I think so.
Something like that. It is a tremendous place. I've really enjoyed my time at Disneyland. So hopefully the whole crew, the Muzz and Marshall and Tam and the big kid himself, Dusty, are having a lot of fun. And in the meantime, you and I are going to have some fun the rest of the way here. All right. The Oilers moving to within, striking distance of the Vegas Golden Knights. The Golden Knights were idle last night. Edmonton 2 points back. Golden Knights have a game in hand of Vegas. Their schedule's relatively easy. I was looking at this, Reid. They get Boston, and then they get Detroit again at home. Detroit did just blank them 3-0. Boston, I don't even know what to make of them, although Boston kind of surprised some people. Then the Golden Knights get Tampa after that, so they're on a homestand here. Do you think the Oilers can make a real push for first place?
According to the website, tankathon.com, and it is updated. Is it updated? Yes, it's updated.
I'm hearing of it.
The Oilers have the 30th hardest schedule the rest of the way. So third easiest.
Basically.
They were 31st last week because Jay and I were looking at this. So because I guess they've burned off a couple games against non-playoff teams.
Oh, they certainly did.
So the Oilers have Winnipeg twice. So they rank the hardest and easiest opponents remaining. So they have the Oilers' hardest games as the 2 against Winnipeg, 2 against LA, and then they play Dallas and Vegas. And then obviously they play Seattle twice, San Jose 3 times. Anaheim is in there, St. Louis and Calgary they have on the easy side. So the Oilers have the third easiest schedule remaining. Vegas has the ninth easiest remaining schedule. They still play Winnipeg. They play Colorado and Minnesota. They on the other side they play Chicago. They play Nashville. So I was pretty discouraged, as you know, about the Oilers getting first of the division last week. I was like, just worry about the playoff, but they're starting to play better. Vegas has a game. It might come down to the game against each other. Mm-hmm. If they kind of can match each other and the Oilers win the head-to-head game. Now, also going against the Oilers is the
regulation wins.
Yeah, because Vegas has 36 and the Oilers have 29.
Yeah,
but I think now it's fun to look up in the standings instead of worrying about who's behind you, which is the point I was at when it was like 9 points ahead, 7 points ahead, and winning only a third of the time. So they took advantage of an easier team last night.
Yep.
Seattle is a team below them in the standings.
Have to win that.
Yeah. Tomorrow's game is going to be a big one because it's all Canadian matchup. There's going to be Winnipeg fans at Rogers Place. They're going to be loud and proud, and they should be because their team is awesome.
Yes.
I don't think for the Oilers necessarily that they're going to be thinking about 6-0 back in October, but the fans will be.
That came up last night.
That'll be a story.
Yep.
Stuart Skinner will be back in net, and that tends to make fans more nervous than Pickard. So that's going to be another factor if the Jets get an early one or something like that. And then I think that this is one of these games that right now it feels really important because it's against a really good team. Now, I will say this. I think it was last April 3rd, the Oilers went into Dallas and lost 5-0. And I was like, well, that's it.
They didn't have a good April.
They can't. And then, once the playoffs started. So I don't want to put too much on tomorrow night's game, but it will be a bit of a measuring stick with the playoffs approaching.
Keep in mind, Vancouver whooped Winnipeg last night.
Yeah.
6-2. One was an empty netter, but Hellebuck, it was 5 goals on 21 shots for him.
Well, and look, maybe Winnipeg's going to have a little swoon here before the postseason like the Oilers had.
Could happen.
It does happen. Even good teams have bad spells. Maybe this is going to be it for... Winnipeg's 5-4-1 in their last 10. So their pace is not as strong as it has been most of the season.
What say you? Let us know. Text line 780-218-9999. Get to the nasty chat as well. I saw some texts that were rolling in. Naughty Possum says, go get the wing Wednesday at BP Dine In only. Yes, indeed, Naughty Possum, delicious. My favorite is the maple barbecue. Library Pat says, if the Ryan Nugent-Hopkins goal from last night goes past Skinner, he's getting roasted all day. Vamelka was simply awful. Of course, he also wasn't getting any help. Nice to see another team experience that. And that comes from Library Pat. You know what else is interesting about Vamelka? Because that was a name heading into the deadline that a lot of Oiler fans started to discuss. Vamelka's win-loss record isn't particularly strong.
No.
That was his 11th consecutive start. That Nugent-Hopkins goal that Library Pat's talking about, I'm going to give Nugent-Hopkins a lot of credit on that, Shorty, because he made a good play on a Sergachev bobble. Clever little play to chip it off the wall and dash for the puck. Listen, he was getting caught up too, but he protects it, and then he uses a backhand. That's how tough the backhand can be to save you. You hear Gager talking about it. Backhanders are tricky, so that's why kids work on your backhand, obviously. It beats Vamelka, who catches right-handed over the shoulder. So I don't disagree with Library Pat, that it was not a great goal. And if Skinner did let that in, he would get roasted. But I even said to you when we were watching that game, I'm like, I think it had to do with the fact that was on his blocker's side. Because if that was his trapper, I think he's catching that.
Yeah, maybe. When he first scored it, I said to you that I thought he lost the net a little bit, but then on the replay, I didn't think he did. Because I remember when Nuge scored him on him in overtime in November, and you saw the replay, like almost half his body was outside the post to the far side, and Nuge just snapped it short side where there was a lot of room. Yeah, he probably could have covered that a little better. But I'm with you. Like you tend to see the goal from the point of view of the team you're cheering for. So when the Oilers get scored on, they're looking to blame somebody, and when they score, they're looking to credit somebody. Whereas sometimes questionable goals go in on other goaltenders as well, right? Sure. I mean, even didn't Podkolzin's shot go off Stauber? Like, okay, If you're an Oilers fan, you're saying, oh, Podkolzin finally stepped into one and drilled it. If you're a Utah fan, you're saying, how do you get beat mid-range by a guy with 0 goals in the last 18 games who's not a sniper, right?
Yep.
So that's why I don't get too caught up on an individual goal. Goals go in all the time. Most games do not end in a shutout. I kind of look at the overall body of work in a game and also when you make the saves. Mm-hmm. And that's why I think talking about Skinner, now again, he's not having the season I would have hoped. Like I would have thought 905. You know, I think the league average is still 900 or 901. It's dropped. If he would have been slightly above average or could still finish that way, that'd be great. But when I talk about, you know, goals, it's like how many are going in. So that's why I've said, okay, there's a few too many screenshots, I think, that go in on Skinner, that he doesn't battle enough or make himself big enough. Right. Or, the Schmidt goal against Florida, in which, again, Bobrovsky let in the worst goal in that game when Kulak basically beat him with a shot the velocity of a pass. But then it's 2-2 in the third. Bobrovsky doesn't blink, and Skinner kind of did. So that's kind of how I look at the goaltending. That's fair. I generally don't get too hung up on individual goal. Like, does anybody even remember the Utah goal last night? I have trouble remembering it. It was a point shot.
Yeah. Off his back foot.
But who cares? It was 5-0. Like, correct. Pickard could have let in one from center. Nobody's really talking about it because the Oilers won the game. So, but yeah, I'm with you. You like when the Oilers score, try to look at it as if that goal was scored on the Oilers. What would you say? What would you say about the goaltending? What would you say about the defending? And that's why I point out last night, it was great the Oilers got to 7 and played pretty well, but I also want to recognize Utah's defending was atrocious. Like, they just stood there and like there were some shifts, it was like the Oilers were practicing, like a 5-on-2 drill. Utah was just like, oh, I don't know. Well, that guy's got the puck. Oh, nice shot. Oh, they got another one. Oh, they scored. Neat.
I think
that's on us.
Oh, I don't know is a direct quote, actually. You make a good point. Library Pat follows up with, it was a great play by Nugent Hopkins. No argument on that. Just the spot where it goes in, it looks really bad, Library Pat. Yeah. And, hey, I get that. Nugent Hopkins, 6 points in his last 2 games, a goal and 5 assists. I mean, yesterday, just give it to him because he'll make something happen. It looks like he has awoken somewhat. We're watching Zach Hyman go through a bit of an awakening. He could have a 30-goal season again. Slow start for him. He had the injury, busted up his nose, was wearing the bubble for the better part of a month. About time that these guys joined the party and became drivers, isn't it?
Well, it's Hyman will be productive. And Hyman will be good in the playoffs. I have very little doubt about that. I think this year for him, he missed the time hurt. At the beginning of the year, he was still getting chances, and they're just not going in. And plus now, teams always adjust, right? Like of course, they've always known Hyman's a good player and where he occupies it, but now he even gets that little more. Like I remember Alex Chason. You might have been in the scrum, or he was talking to us all. Like, remember his first year with the Oilers? Like, he was on some streak early in the season.
23 goals his first year, I think.
And he's like, look, now every time I cross the blue line, I'm getting slashed or I'm getting a little hook. And he's like, before I was on this scoring streak, I could just skate to the front of the net and they'd think, stupid Alex Chason. So Hyman's, who always got a lot of attention, was probably even getting a little bit more attention. But the thing is with Hyman, he doesn't stop going to those places.
Correct.
Right? And now he's got a couple of his classic tap-ins that look easy until you realize all the work that he did to make it look easy in the end. So I'm not too concerned about him. Arvidsson and potentially Skinner are the guys that could change the complexion of the top 6 or even the top 9, if depending on how they use Nuge and some of the other wingers. Mm-hmm. Like if they start producing more and forechecking and getting to the proper places, that changes the look of the team going into the playoffs. If they can roll the lines over and keep up the pressure, as opposed to like, well, it's McDavid's line and then it's 3 lines in the other, or Leon's line and then it's 3 shifts in the Oilers' end of the rink.
Arvidsson goals in back-to-back games, by the way. A couple of texts to get to here. Tom Gazzola, Reid, Wilkins with you on the Oil Stream, presented by Boston Pizza. We're inside the Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen studios. Mark texting in says, what do you guys think is a comparable for Frederick's next deal if he finishes the year around the same pace as a decent playoffs? Big, rugged forwards are sought after in free agency. I'd like to see him on any kind of deal, short or long term. Also, the D-core is setting up for an interesting 2026 offseason, but in a very good spot for this year and next. And then Mark added the fact that the Oilers were big game hunting on the wings with Rantanen and Raquel was intriguing. I wonder if a Forsberg-Pasternak deal could be had. Mark, I don't want to dash your hopes, but Forsberg or Pasternak, super highly unlikely, to the point of like I would just flat out say no, but that's just me. And I know people call me a dream crusher when it comes to that stuff.
You really are, Tom.
I'm a realist. The Rantanen thing, again, very important to reiterate that, yes, they talked to his camp and said, we'd give you this contract. You heard good reporting from Shaggy and stuff. That did happen. But the fact of the matter is when it came to talking to Carolina and any sense of a deal coming to fruition, that got shut down very quickly. So, but they are aggressive. That has to be noted, and they are trying to be creative and find ways to put this team over the top. So I wouldn't say never to that suggestion about Forsberg or Pasternak, but I would highly, highly, highly doubt that. Okay.
Well, and Frederick, I mean, I just doubled. Like his cap hit's 2.3. You can't pay him much more than that.
He apparently, just his ask, had he had a better season, probably would have been high. Right?
Like closer to 4 even?
17 and 18 goal seasons, yeah. However, contract year, he's not having a great year and he's hurt.
No.
So I don't know how much he can
No, we'll see how he contributes in the playoffs.
Yep.
I mean, what, they're paying Jeff Skinner 3?
Yep. I'd give that to
you
Frederick.
Could potentially give a big chunk of that to Frederick if he comes in and makes an impact in the playoffs and he wants to stay here.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
I don't know why he wouldn't want to. The only thing that I keep hearing is St. Louis kids like to go back to St. Louis. He's a St. Louis kid.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I mean, he could have an amazing time here. Look at Adam Henrique. He seemed kind of reluctant to come here. They convince him, enjoys it, goes on a great run, signs a multi-year deal the next offseason or that following summer. And it can happen. So I'm curious. I just want to see him play games. He's not going to play this week.
No.
We've been told that. We know it, but we'll see where he's at. Ankles, man, are so fickle. Todd Gack texting in. Great name. This is good sports radio. Thank you.
That's all he said?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
That's very nice
So
of you, Todd
enjoy
Gack.
doing it. Tom and I
do.
would be doing this even if it wasn't broadcast.
This is what we do. Give us a beer. We do this.
Frederick, well, somebody lost it now. Where would Frederick play? Well, he'll play on the third line. Or he'll play in the bottom six.
Sure.
So it depends how, because wasn't it Draisaitl, Perry, and Brown yesterday?
Yep.
That's not going to be a line.
No.
I don't think.
No. You know what I could see as things have gone this year? Perry over on the right side on that second line. Frederick maybe could get a look up there.
You think so?
Maybe.
Okay.
I do agree with you that probably better suited for the third line, but they have flexibility. How does he mesh with Leon? Perry can play with anybody. Does he skate well? Those things I think we need to get a better sense of. Because, I mean, not
I don't know.
of us
Like off the top of my head, I was
him.
thinking like Henrique between Frederick and Perry.
That sounds good too.
Like, I don't know. But he'll be intriguing to watch. I see Max Jones has already become a
Forgot.
12-13 forward.
He was supposed to be in the minors when they
Yeah.
traded for him. And he could very well be headed there.
See, and this is the thing. Could Max Jones do what Kapanen did last night? Probably not.
Yeah.
But Kapanen was using his speed against a team that, as I said, was defending like crap.
Yes.
So in a playoff series, if you need some ruggedness, would you sooner have Max Jones or Kapanen on the fourth line?
Oh, okay.
Right? Like you'd probably
Good
sooner have
question.
Max Jones if he's quick enough to get there and make the hits.
Yeah. Because an engaged Kapanen, like Kapanen's not the tallest guy, but he is built like a tank.
Right.
And when he wants to, he can handle the puck well. He can transport it well. It's just there's times where he goes away and you're like, what are you doing today, man?
Yeah.
Are you out there? Are you playing or are you just coasting?
Yeah.
And that's the frustrating part with
But
it.
at least now they have some options up front where you might be able to say, okay, we need somebody to be physical. Maybe you're not sure that person's going to be able to go in and do that. And I even thought it was interesting what Knobloch said about Derek Ryan yesterday, who, as we saw this year, doesn't have, I mean, he was never the fastest guy, but there were times this year, the game really looked like it was a little too quick for him.
Correct.
And maybe in the playoffs it gets even faster, but he's going to be on the roster. And maybe there's a game where it's like, okay, Knobloch and the coaches are like, okay, we're using 11 forwards, but Derek's going to take faceoffs and kill penalties and play 5 minutes. And at least we know he won't get out of position mentally. I mean, maybe physically sometimes he might. So at least there are some options up front with experience and this is what Bowman said on the trade deadline day, we got a lot of the same type of forward. Mm-hmm. So Max Jones might be scratched most of the time now, but when he's put in, he has a dimension that some of the other forwards don't have. And that's the beauty of Frederick if he plays to his potential too.
Good point. Very good point. Jones, 2 good games to start his Oilers tenure, indeed. And then Chris Knobloch also saying that we will probably see Derek Ryan in games down the stretch here. That's interesting. And I know he's a boon to the locker room. They highly regard him, and the big guys do too.
Right.
So he's kind of a leader in that regard. I don't know if it's Matt Hendricks-esque, because Hendricks was an absolute beauty, great to deal with all around, and the players highly valued him. And then Derek Ryan, a little colder around the room to others, outsiders, but inside apparently he is top-notch, and they love him. So that's worth noting. Okay, we do have to get to Keep It or Clip It in a little bit here. If you have any suggestions for Keep It or Clip It, fire those our way, 780-218-9999. You can also submit those in the Nasty Chat as well. Hit that thumbs up button as we roll along on a lovely Wednesday here in the Big E. Gazzola and Wilkins with you on the Oil Stream presented by Boston Pizza. The team did practice. They got off the ice about 40 minutes ago. No McDavid on the ice, no Draisaitl, no Hyman, no Ekholm as well. Tony Barr sending that out via X.
Just maintenance, though. Nobody's actually seriously hurt that we know of.
Right. And Ekholm was a pleasant addition to the lineup yesterday. We anticipated it was going to be Thursday. He comes in yesterday, scores a nice goal. I thought he played really well. They kept the minutes down for most guys. Ekholm still played like 21.
Yep, 21-27.
Yeah.
Bush still played 22-54. Yeah.
And Draisaitl 22 as well. But everyone else was pretty even. They spread it out decently well, which is great to see. Hyman, obviously, getting nicked up, not playing in New York, continues to get time to heal. Draisaitl, McDavid, those guys have been playing 24, 25 minutes for the better part of the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, McDavid played 16:46, which is like a night off for him.
Great.
Even Nuge only playing 15:03 is pretty lighter.
Great.
I got to say this because I think when I got in my car last night, you guys were just at the tail end of talking about it. I think you're reading Tournier. I don't know if I'm saying Tournier. I don't know if I say his name right.
Tournier?
Because he was asked about Draisaitl being on the ice, I think.
For the power play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to say this. At the highest level of sports, I don't think there's a such thing as running up the score. Like, this came up
I disagree with that.
This came up last year when Vancouver beat Edmonton 8-1 in the first game of the season.
Right.
And they had their number 1 power play out late in the game. I say, okay, player deployment, yes. But I don't look at that as showing mercy to the other team. I look at that as an opportunity to give your guys more ice time that maybe don't play a lot.
Yeah,
but you can't tell a guy don't score.
No.
You can't tell in football they'll kneel down on the one.
Although they do it.
It has happened. People running the clock out or whatever.
Yeah.
But to me, if you can crush a team's spirit, absolutely go do it.
There's some milestones that could have been achieved. A hat trick for Hyman, 50th goal for Draisaitl. And, in those instances, like last night, that power play was watered down. Like I think they threw Kulak out there for one of them and more defensemen. And so, I suppose, Tournier understands, hey, we're getting killed. Yeah, that guy might get 50 tonight the way we're playing. Whatever. That guy might get his hat trick. We deserve it because we're playing like absolute ass. I guess so. And then you see that Knoblauch waters down the power play with a couple of guys that aren't usually on there. You're like, well, made an attempt to half-ass not embarrass us, but we kind of embarrassed ourselves. So I get that. And I think Tourigny's comment is also indicative of his intelligence, just understanding and be like, but like if there was intent to bury and crush and there's like an ill will already built up between the two teams, then I'd be pissed off. Like the natural instinct would be like, oh, come on, man. But I guess you're at a point where you're just like, we suck tonight. Yeah, go ahead. Go get it. You're in front of your home crowd. We deserve everything we're getting handed to us right now. I think that's how I look at the scenario from last night.
Yeah, I guess it could depend on the opponent too. Like we assume that the Oilers might have a laugher in one of the 3 games against the Sharks. So sure, if it's 7-1 after 2 periods, roll the lines in the third. But again, you can't tell guys not to shoot or a guy with 2 goals not to try to get a hat trick, especially if it's someone who's never had one. But generally in the highest level of the pro sports, I figure just like play better. If you're the team on the wrong end of the score, like play better. Stop the other team. You don't want to lose 7-1 or 11-3, play better. Maybe I'm old-fashioned, Tom. I'm going to the whip.
Old man yells at clock. I'm kidding. All right. We have a bunch of texts to get to. I like these, actually. I like when we get the listeners to pitch in on this. This is going to be great. Let's get to Keep It or Clip It, brought to you by Tommy Guns. At Tommy Guns Original Barbershop, we believe a great haircut is more than just a quick in and out. It's about the whole experience. That's why we follow the code. Speaking of the code, a commitment to deliver the best barbershop experience every time you visit, from check-in to the finishing touch. Every step is crafted with care. No appointments needed. Just walk in, relax, and we'll take it from there. All right. I will go right to the inbox with the suggestions for Keep It or Clip It, Reid. Liquid Beaver, Sheldon chiming in with this one because we'll look at the Central Division a little bit. Liquid Beaver says, Keep It or Clip It. St. Louis makes the playoffs to have 5 teams from the Central in the dance. And St. Louis, as of today, is tied with Vancouver, but on the outside looking in after a win last night.
I'll clip it. I'll clip it because they're enjoying a burst of 7-2-1 in their last 10.
Yes. That
their season would suggest they won't quite keep up. They have played the most games out of the teams jockeying for a playoff spot.
Good point.
So I will say St. Louis comes up a little short. Now, the one thing is, though, they're the only team in the race with a positive goal differential, which often in the big picture means something by the end of the year. There could be 3 teams in the NHL with a negative goal differential this year.
In the playoffs?
Yes. If Montreal or the Islanders were to make it, even the Rangers are -1. Minnesota, that's shot. I guess Minnesota lost some games lopsided when they had injuries, including one to Edmonton.
They win small and lose big.
Right.
That's.
But Vancouver and Calgary will for sure be minus.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm picking the Flames to get in.
I like the Flames. They've got a couple games in hand here.
Yeah, I know they don't score, but I think Wolf is having an outstanding season.
Yeah.
So I'm going to clip St. Louis to get in, though there's a good argument for them to get in. I mean, if Binnington shines down the stretch. And now, is Parayko coming back?
No, he's supposed to be out for the year, I believe.
Yeah, I don't think they'll be able to keep up that stretch. So I'll clip it, the Blues getting in.
Good run, makes things interesting. Even Utah making it a kind of a 4-horse race was kind of interesting too. But I think yesterday was the dagger. That was a nail in the coffin. And I'm going to extend Liquid Beavers, Keep It or Clip It, as we look at the Central Division. Keep It or Clip It, Reid. The Central Division powerhouses, yes, I'm talking about Winnipeg, yes, I'm talking about Dallas, yes, I'm talking about Colorado, aren't as scary as they seem from the outside.
Oh. Yeah, I'll keep that.
Yeah?
Because they are very good, but once you get into the playoffs, it's a pretty small margin between winning and losing. I mean, there was a fear, and I was one of the people who had the fear, that Dallas was going to school the Oilers in the Western Conference Final and win in 5 or 6 games fairly convincingly, and the Oilers won the series. And
in 6,
after Dallas went up 2-1 in the series, Edmonton played really well in games 4 and 5, especially game 5. So, and Dallas and Colorado will beat each other up potentially in the first round. So that's going to be interesting. So I will say that the Central Division is very good. I think you'd have to say it's the best division in the league.
I look at all 3 of those teams as beatable still for different reasons.
Well, yes. Well, Dallas we know can be beaten.
Yeah.
Dallas makes the Western Conference Final, 2 years in a row? Or is it 2 of the last 3?
I think it is 2 of the last.
But they're very good.
Yeah.
But they can be beaten. Colorado is it's so close in the playoffs. So yeah, I'll keep that they're scary, but they're not these unreal menaces with no weaknesses. And Winnipeg, let's face it, Winnipeg still has to prove it in the postseason.
Bingo.
Even going back to the year they swept Edmonton.
They lost to Montreal.
Next round they get swept by the Canadiens. So who was it that was it Scheifele that got suspended for the hit?
Blew up Jake
But still,
Evans,
they still had Hellebuck and a lot of other good players that they had then, and some of them they still have now. And then Winnipeg's last 2 years have been kind of meek / disappointing first round exits. So yeah, there's baggage or question marks around those teams still going into the playoffs. Absolutely.
Good question. I like these keep it or clip it's good ones coming in from our listeners. This one from Bones. What's up, Bones? Says keep it or clip it, guys. John Klingberg plays 8 playoff games. Reid, you've got
clip
the floor.
It. You won't play that many.
I think he might play 1 or 2. Maybe. We got to see where he's at. Like, he's got to play some games here. It seems like he's close. But I could see him and Emberson rotating. And Stetcher being like the 8th D-man.
Yeah, I don't think. Well, the Oilers would have to make at least the second round for Klingberg to play 8 playoff games.
Yeah, I'd clip that.
I would clip that. Now, if he does, one of 2 things are happening. The Oilers have run into some serious injuries and or underwhelming play on the back end.
Ugh.
Or John Klingberg all of a sudden transforms into 2020 John Klingberg or whenever he had one of his best years.
That was 5 years ago. All right. Keep it or clip it, Reid. Trent Frederick will play a game with the Oilers in the month of March. They have 1, 2,
I'll clip it. I'll
3,
say
4,
he's
5
not,
games this month.
I'll clip it. I'll say he's not back until April. Well, he's not going to play on this homestand.
Right. That takes us to Saturday.
And then
3 days between games.
So then he's probably not playing. So maybe next Wednesday against Dallas, but he's not even practicing, right?
And that's the concerning thing.
So if he's not playing on this homestand, that also means he's not playing against Seattle the day after the homestand ends. So that leaves 1 game this month he could possibly play in, which is the home game against Calgary on the 29th?
Yes.
28th or 29th?
9 games in April.
He'll play in April.
Is 9 games enough runway to get you up and running?
Yes. Because because he was playing this season.
Right.
He's not coming back from, like Kane is, from not playing at all.
Correct.
I'll say clip it that he plays in March. I don't think he will.
I'll keep it. I think he sneaks in for that Battle of Alberta.
Okay, that'd be cool. That'd be a fun way to introduce him to the team.
Absolutely. That's going to be an important game. We have some great games coming up. Now, the schedule in April, a little bit underwhelming. There's that big Vegas game to start the month. San Jose 3 times. St. Louis by that point, whatever. Anaheim, same thing. 2 against LA. Those are going to be good.
Yeah.
And 1 against Winnipeg. That should be pretty good, too.
Yeah. Now watch the Oilers go 6-3 in April, and the 3 losses are to the Sharks.
Now, that would be something. That would be something. All right. What's coming up today on the Reid Wilkins Show?
Updates on the Oilers. I'll have some audio from practice. Very excited, too. A guy I have a lot of respect for and a big part of my career. Sid Smith's going to join me in studio for an hour.
Nice.
Sid Smith was the first host of Inside Sports when it debuted, I think, in 97 on 630 Ched. So it'll be cool to be on air with Sid again.
I remember when he hosted the pre- and post-game show on Ched back in the day. Did he not?
Yeah, he did that as well.
Yeah, I do remember that. Open line, overtime open line.
Yeah, it was called. I think the shows had the same names.
Yeah.
And I think he was doing that, and then they added an evening sports show, and I believe it was 9 to 11 when it started, 9 to 11 p.m., and then they expanded it from 8 to 11.
I remember Dean Millard had 9 to midnight sports night
On 1260?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, right, yeah.
That's how I started. I filled in for Dino.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, congratulations.
Oh, thank you. Congratulations to you.
But yeah, well,
That's gonna be great.
Sid's going to come in for an hour. Jay's still off today. He's back tomorrow. So Sid will do like an hour with me, and we'll tell stories and chat about the Oilers. He has some great stuff from when he was covering the team as well. And yeah, it'll be good to see him. I'm eager to have. I think he was ice fishing. Maybe we'll get some ice. I think he goes to Northern Ontario and ice fishes. So
that's pretty cool.
I'd like to get some fishing stories from people.
Get those fishing stories. Also, you've been kind of riding solo since Jay's been off. How has it felt? Because I've been watching and listening, and I'm like, oh, it's probably just kind of like how it was when you were doing your old show.
Yeah, I hope it's been good. The shows have felt good. I mean, the show is Jay and I, right? Like that's what it is here.
With that guy sometimes.
With the Coob hanging out and doing his thing.
His reads have been good the last couple of weeks, by the way.
But I will say this, and I'm sure people find this in their jobs. Like, you got to work under the conditions. So I tend not to think like, oh no, Jay's like, again, Jay and I are the show. That's the vibe. I mean, I love working with him, and we're just going to continue to build. Yeah. But he has time off. So I can't, when I'm prepping for the show, I don't think, oh, Jay's not here. What am I going to do? Like, I think, no, I got to do the show. And as like, you know this, sometimes we got to be on remote or things happen on short notice. And I know, people don't like to flash back to COVID and the pandemic and stuff, but that was a big thing too for just doing the job. Because, so Dave Campbell was the producer of Inside Sports, and I was hosting, and there's that day where it's like, oh, like there's no leagues. Yeah. Like there's no NHL, and the University Cup's canceled, and we had this moment of like terror, and then we were just like, hey, they can't bitch about it. No, there's no sports. We have a 2-hour time slot. Yeah. We got to do a good show. Yeah. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? And I'll give credit to Dave at that point too, because he really was like, hey man, he's like, just go on and be yourself. Like, just talk. Like, just tell stories. Be Reid. Like, connect with people. Maybe we can't get as many guests. Maybe there aren't as many guests to talk about. So I just kind of look at it that way. It'll be great to have Jay back tomorrow, but you got to go on there and just have fun.
Give her. It's a good show.
I'm keeping that. I keep myself. I do not clip myself. Some people would
bonus,
probably
keep
clip
it or
me.
clip it. Well done, sir. Well done.
Some people are probably like, clip Reid now.
No. Bones actually says Jed Roberts is a good co-host. You guys are great together. I thought
he came in for 40 minutes a couple days ago. Yeah, he's got so many great stories.
He does. He's a very likable and approachable guy.
And like his whole story, and I know he's talking about being hearing impaired and playing pro sports, and then like he's the ultimate. I mean, he got to be well known in Edmonton because of his work ethic and how long he stayed. Yep. But he's also the ultimate underdog. I mean, he played non-glamorous positions. Didn't get a lot of credit necessarily for what he did, and he sort of and now he like works in the community with like people who have challenges and stuff like that. He's just a great guy.
Yes, he is. He's excellent on the air with you as well. I thought that was hilarious too when he said he was talking about warm-ups back in the day, and Gizmo wore some guy's like alligator skin suit and wore it during warm-up, and then Jed also said in the huddle he would be the one doing the pump-up message, and he's like, I don't know if they picked me to do the pump-up because I was hearing impaired and they could just like make fun of me while I was doing it because I couldn't hear anything or what. And I was like, no, it's probably because they like you and everybody appreciates you. But he's awesome. He's funny. So looking forward to that. 3:00, Reid's back with Ice Cube, and Sid Smith will be in studio with him. That'll be great to hear from Sid. Coming up next, it is EST Afternoons with Hernan Salas and Joaquin Gage. That's going to do it for the Oil Stream. Great show today. Thank you, Reid. You were excellent. As always, thank you to our presenting sponsor, Boston Pizza. Obviously, Popeye's Louisiana Kitchen is our studio sponsor. He's going to go get the snack items for $4, and then Tommy Guns. Great stuff. Really appreciate it. That's it. We'll see you later. Coming up next, Hernan and Joaquin, EST Afternoons. See ya.